So hello and welcome to another episode of Rebel City Podcast. This week's guest, we have Ryan Coutts. Ryan, we found on Twitter, and before I go into the episode, because it was an excellent episode, and some really amazing conversations happened and discussions about depression and anxiety. Just want to do a wee bit of housekeeping. Last couple of weeks, if you can hear the wind blowing, by the way, or any sort of sirens as I can hear them in the background, it's because I'm recording a podcast outside. And it's before that podcast that I do this intro. The podcast is really sort of taken off in the last couple of weeks. I think off the back of a couple of really powerful episodes. I just want to say thank you to Jeanette Finlay from Call It Out. We get a sort of small taste of the type of abuse that woman gets just by putting out an episode that featured her, and we've been called all sorts, mainly by some faceless Union Jacks and Rangers supporting Twitter feeds. None of that really bothers me, if I'm being honest. We were well aware that was going to happen, but I just wanted to give Jeanette a shout out, because not only did we get a taste of that, she also did an incredible episode, and the feedback that we've been getting on that episode has been just out of this world. The downloads have went mental, people subscribing has went mental, so thank you. And also thank you to Chris Bungard. His episode did 1,000 views overnight across all platforms, 1,000 listens I should say, and unfortunately he didn't win his fight Saturday night, but what a guy. And another, I thought, a really good episode, and again the feedback was incredible about how down to earth he was and how much a nice guy is, despite being able to rip your fucking head off. But anyway, this week's episode, Ryan, we sat down with Ryan and we spoke about depression and anxiety, the differences between the two, how mental health issues are sort of overstated on Twitter mainly, bodybuilding, how the gym can be actually a negative to your mental health as well as a huge positive, as we already know. We also talked to Ryan about his generation, the sort of 21, 22-year-olds right now that do have bad mental health but not mental illness, and how the sort of weekend culture and cocaine and alcohol really feeds into that phenomenon that we're seeing. And we talk about, air quotes, the fear, and how much of the fear is just a hangover, and then anxiety on top of the hangover, making it last 2 or 3 days. I want to thank Ryan. He came in, lovely guy, cracking chat, but open and honest about his mental health issues. And without further ado, here's the episode with Ryan. Again, thanks to Jeanette, thanks to Chris Bungard, thanks to everybody that's been on the podcast so far. We're going to keep going. We've got some exciting episodes coming up. But without further ado, here's Ryan.
So hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Rebel City Podcast. As always, myself, Matt, and my colleague Paul. And today we're sitting talking with Ryan Coutts. Ryan is somebody who I recently met at an STUC event. If you're following us on social media, you might have seen us sort of tweeting about me getting up and talking shite for us. basically an advert for the Rebel City.
Unfortunately, I get 24 hours notice on it.
Yeah, I
should really keep an eye on fucking
that was
emails,
actually part of my partner, was that it was only me because we actually forgot it was on. So at the event, obviously we were discussing attitudes towards mental health, and how various people in and around their communities are doing a bit of work to try and help improve other people's lives and their mental health in general. Ryan, you are a member of the group that we've previously had in before with Gary Folds.
Aye.
So I don't know. You want to tell us a wee bit about your group and your journey?
Well, I started off last year. I moved through to Springburn for Falkirk and just hit me a lot of ton of bricks. I'd been off my lot with stress a few weeks prior to it, and I just hadn't sorted myself out. Mm-hmm. And it was all just a flash. Before we knew it, we moved to moving day.
Yeah.
And I think just the moving out for what I knew, moving away from my family, although I know it's not far, but it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like the isolation and the loneliness felt like, obviously I know like everybody, we're all getting older, we've all got our own plans and that, and I just felt like none of my pals were coming to see me. But I think just the whole one way thinking, I was like, oh, nobody wants to come see me, like the anxiety just racked up, so turned to drink.
And it was you were moving from Falkirk?
Falkirk, aye, to Springburn, just I turned to drink big time. To the point of where it became a massive problem.
Yeah.
Like I'm predominantly night shift my work, coming home for the morning, then a bevy on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like even like waking up on the Monday, although you're rough, you're like, can't wait for the next drink. And it was just that whole feeling, a sense of normality. Like I didn't want to feel the anxious way, and it built up over months. And obviously Gary's group was there, and I'd convinced myself that I was fine.
Yeah.
In my own head, I'm like, I'm going to go to the group, I'm going to use my experience with mental health, because I've been going through it for the last 6 years. Well, diagnosed 6 years ago, but I think it's been happening for like my early teens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to pass on my knowledge, I've been through a lot. I sat down at a group with Gary. Gary's like, you want to share? I just spoke about the fact that the isolation, the loneliness, and I just sat there and I'm like, fuck, I need to help myself.
Yeah.
So that's like, I'm now like best pals with Gary through it all. Like the boys, like Gary, Kai, Stevie, Michael, who are not been on the show.
Yeah, we've had Mike as well.
He came a bit later on, but boys have been fantastic with me, and it's got to a point now where I'm helping run the group.
Yeah.
So it's the full thing's been so positive.
That's amazing. I mean, obviously in sort of previous episodes, I've alluded to issues with the drink as well, and I'm in a similar area, so I can't imagine that either of our stories are sort of particularly unique in the sort of northeast of Glasgow. But I mean, I can absolutely sort of resonate with what you're saying there, is that it's amazing how quickly that destructive behaviour can become normal when you've got the shutters on. And I have made use of groups myself in the past, not necessarily your own group, even though I've been quite close to coming along a few times and the anxiety got the better of me. Like the groups for me, I've found as well that you go in going, right, do you know what? You're almost like walking in the door the first time with a tick box exercise and going like, somebody tell me this will work for me, and do you know what? I'll give it a go because, it'll shut them up. And then you go there and you that first time you actually share your experiences with somebody, it can be quite a kind of revelatory moment where you kind of go, do you know what, actually, this isn't me just paying lip service to other people's. This is me actually like recognising in myself that I do have something that I need to address. And like, I think your group and obviously, what you're doing in general, it kind of helps, dispel that myth that like men don't want to talk. Because we've heard that time and time again, through the process of the recording the podcast and various other things that we've done alongside it. But like, my experience is that see, when you give guys an actual opportunity to sit down and actually put stuff out there, like they do. And I think the merrier the better. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm sorry. That's happened to me last week.
I know. Just going on. You're turning into me. Like I'm supposed to be the one that goes in big long rants, and you're supposed to control me. But see, when you were saying like, obviously, like the move's been the sort of breaking point, but you were saying it started in your early teens. Do you know like where it came from?
Family problems, which I think kind of more sunk in as I got older. The more like the first 3 years because I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, when it was at the point like I was waking up when my depression was bad, I just didn't want to be here. Like it was so emotional in terms of like I spent pretty much my entire teenage years like crying and no understanding why.
Yeah.
To the point and now like I'm not really that much an emotional guy anymore, and I always laugh and say it's because I spent that many years crying when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
But my emotion just focused on anger, and it was my now fiance when I started going out with her, she'd say to me like you need to sort yourself out or I'm away. And
yeah,
I think it was that point I kind of had the realisation, because we were only maybe 6 months in, but I cared about her, and obviously you're not
course.
wanting it in. And I'm like, I need to sort myself out, so I went to the doctors. But I mean, I spent the first 3 years after my diagnosis just like, I built a red rag, like, just wanting to fight with everybody, like, just everything. The slightest thing was like a light switch, and the red mist was done. It was scary. So I think like just see the kind of going through it all and realising that was what the kind of the clicking point. See, when I came out of depression, I was like, that's where that stems from, was family problems in my early
When
years.
you were younger, I think.
Aye.
There's a lot of stuff going on about, I don't know if you've seen about like ACEs, like adverse childhood experiences. There's a list of like 12 things that when you read it, it's like emotional violence in the household, physical violence in the household, a parent leaving when somebody's gone through the formative years. And these 12 things, if you have one or more of these things, it means that you're predisposed to like mental health issues when you become an adult. But see, when you read the list, mate, you're literally like, I've got all of them.
Aye.
Like, to a certain extent. And I think it's really important for people, like, see what you're saying. I keep saying this to a lot of people. See, if you have something like anger where you just fly off the handle, you need to recognise that there's something causing that. It's not just that, see, when you talk to people and they're like, I'm just an angry person, you're not just an angry person. Like, if you're going about looking for fights, or you're like, you've got destructive relationships, like in the Friday night, you start getting drunk and you don't sober up until, the Monday morning, you kind of need to look at yourself and go, what the fuck's going on in my head here? Like, why am I doing this? But these sort of things are just so prevalent in people. I mean, Matt's 37, you just turned
37.
I'm coming up for 36. But see that sort of Friday to Sunday, just going out getting smashed, like, with your mates, like, everybody did that. Absolutely everybody did that. And then I think with the sort of emergence of social media, people are like, I don't feel right, I feel depressed. And it's like, well, what are you doing on a Friday night? Like, why are you doing this? And like, I think that it sounds to me like you're lucky that you've managed to sort of open your eyes. Like, it sounds like, and I think this is probably another common one. People get a girlfriend and their girlfriend's like, look, I really like you, but you need to sort your shit out here. And it's that sort of slap, like the wake up call where
this is
you're
one
like,
of the things that when we met at the STUC, I kind of felt like a bit of kinship with you, because my story is quite similar. I got my first diagnosis at 19. I met Stacey in my mid-20s, realised pretty quickly that I needed to sort myself out. But as you say, I had a 6-7 year period between there where I was in just total denial, and that anger and that kind of, loneliness, that isolation that you feel is there. And I think it's because at a younger age as men, we don't have the support structures like the groups that you're involved in and stuff like that, because it's great that we can put these things together in our older days, a bit more wiser and stuff like that. But what are we doing to stop 19, 20-year-old kids falling into that pit? You know what I mean? Because I don't think we do enough there. I think that emotional intelligence, that understanding of yourself, is something that we should be teaching to guys at a much younger age, so that when they get to, adulthood, they're not feeling that anger, they're not feeling that isolation,
I think like it's such a Scottish thing, and it happens everywhere. Like, that's a redneck, and I think personally, like, I've got a great support group of pals. Like, my pals have been fantastic with me. Like, my family's been fantastic. But I know for a fact that boys out there who are going and getting smashed Friday, Saturday, Sunday, waking up and going, why do I feel like shite? They're going to their pals, the pals are like, fuck up, you're fine.
Aye.
And folk will be embarrassed to go to their pals. Like, I was the same. I'm now very, very open with how I feel and what's going on, because I want to be able to help people. But for the first 3 years, when I was like going through depression rather than anxiety, like what I go through now, it was, I just shut myself off everybody, because I was ashamed. Like, like, even the only person I would really open up to was my missus. Like,
man. So important, isn't it, man? Just like your girlfriend, man. This is what's weird. What I found weird is, me and Matt went on a podcast 2 weeks ago called Drunk Therapy. It's not been put out yet. And one of the questions, and I don't know, I wonder why.
It might never, depending on how it went. I don't know, but I can remember.
But the guy asked us, after we'd had like 4 or 5 beers, like, what was it like coming out to your pal? Because I've had addiction problems and I've never been diagnosed. I think that on reflection of what I went through, I think I woke up early enough that I didn't go down the rabbit hole and end up having to go to a doctor, and caught it early enough. But he asked us, what was it like coming out to each other as like best pals? Me and Matt have known each other since we were 5, and we literally turned around to each other and went, we've never done it. And we did it on live on a podcast. Right. We run a mental health podcast. We sit and talk about mental health to each other. We've had 30 odd episodes of this, and we had never turned around and admitted to each other, I've got a problem. I've been an addict, and it took us to get drunk, and then for a guy to sit there and say, "Well, go say it to each other," and I just find that incredibly fucking strange. But also, I know why. Do you know what I mean? It's exactly what you're talking about. It's like that's a pure redneck. Like, can you imagine? I can't imagine being in East End and being 15 and turning around to my mate and going, "Do you know? Sometimes I feel nervous and I don't want to come out and play football because I don't think yous like me," or but people be like, "What are you talking about?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, shut up, mate. Like, fucking hell. But it's something that we really need to encourage amongst like young people. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, definitely. I think like, see as well, like when the anxiety consumes you like that, like you just all the bad thoughts just run through your head. Like, because that is like last year. My missus me saying to me like that, stop the drinking. My mum would say to me, stop the drinking. Like everybody in my family seen the destructive path I was going down.
Yeah.
But because I convinced myself that I was fine, I'm like, fuck up, fine. I'm alright. And it wasn't until the second week of the group, I picked Gary up because he didn't have a motor. And I was just talking to him, like, because obviously we'd only met the week before, we didn't know each other, telling him my story, and he turned around and was like, "Mate, you've got a problem." And it was like, it was a surreal experience because it was as if I was up here and I was looking down the conversation, and it was that light bulb moment. I went, "Oh, I've got a problem," and it took for a complete stranger. So I think like when the anxiety consumes you, like if people tell me, my mates were saying I had a problem and all, and I was like, you just, because you convince yourself that you're alright, you don't generally tend to listen to anybody, which that could also become a problem in itself. And when you're shutting yourself off, you've got the blinkers on, it would be hard for you to come out of that. I was, to be fair, that probably would have been me if it wasn't for Gary saying to me. And it was just literally because a stranger had said to me, "You've got a problem." Because I think when you're around people that love you, like, they have got your best interest. I know absolutely everybody had my best interest, but you're like, nah, they're talking shit. Like,
that's it. It's like you're defending yourself. You know that it's going to be hard. You know that it's going to probably hurt a bit, and you know that you're going to go through so much shit to try and deal with this stuff. But I spent years doing the same thing, just telling myself, "Nah, like I'm brilliant. Like, I'm doing fine. I've got a good job. I've got a relationship. I've got mates. I'm doing fine." But deep down inside, I knew something wasn't right. Do you know what I mean? And see that, I think that's part of. I remember. I think my watershed moment came when I read somebody describing on Twitter so it was like anxiety, a thread or whatever, and it was like a 10-tweet thread where the guy was like, "When I go in public transport, I feel sort of nervous, I get clammy horns." I was like, "Well, I do that." And it's like, when I need to text people, I get nervous about texting them, like, I do that. And then it's like, if I need to confront somebody, I'm a nervous wreck. I was like, "Fuck, man, that's me." And then I was like, "Do you know what, man? I've got anxiety." And I'd never thought about it before. I just thought, this is just the way that I am. I didn't even think that I had like anxiety. I just thought, well, this is just who I am.
I think everybody experiences it though at some point, though, didn't they? I think the hardest part for me, over the years I'd had a few panic attacks, but I'd never really experienced anxiety. It was always depression. And I think when I came out of it, I was like, right, I'm better now. Like, I can go back to living a normal life. So when that set in last year, because I'd never really experienced that, I didn't really know what it was. I just always associated anxiety with panic attacks, which I'd only had like a handful over the years. But
still a handful of panic attacks.
I know,
that should be enough to ring alarm bells.
It's only a handful. But
I know, but like last year, I walked into work. I'd had a breakdown on a Sunday. Like, it was stupid. Just like lay in bed. I came off a night shift, was going back on the day shift on Monday. Just lay in bed and just burst out greeting. Like, couldn't breathe, hyperventilating, and my sister was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, I honestly don't know.
Yep.
Like, and that was like my first day at the group was the Saturday, that was the Sunday, went in and worked on the Monday, and that was it. It was like the social anxiety. I just walked in and my head was fried. I couldn't, like, I had a simple job that, I mean, it was a 2-minute job and I made it a complete cunt of it.
Yeah.
Like 3 times in a row, and one of the guys I work with, like, he knows everything about what I go through, and he was like, "You alright?" I went, "No." I said, I need to go home, like, I can't be around people, like, and that was when I went to the doctors, and I'm like, your anxiety's really bad, like, and that's when I decided I needed to challenge this, I needed to do something about it.
What was the main differences between, because I think that you get a lot of depression and anxiety, so people say I suffer from depression and anxiety. What would you say for you was the main differences between the two of them?
Depression for me was like waking up in the morning, just not wanting to be here, like, no energy, didn't want to get out of bed, didn't want to shower, like, just physically didn't want to do anything, like, and you've just obviously, like, you've got the dark thoughts running around your head, which is like, it's horrible to talk about and it's horrible for people to hear, but the reality is that is depression. Like, there's many a time where I woke up and I was like, I could just throw myself off the bridge, could throw myself in front of a train, I don't want to be here, like, and I self-harmed up, like, a few times when I was depressed. I cut myself because it was a form of release. And I was like, and again, it's horrible, but I think people need to hear it. Like,
Absolutely.
When I was cutting myself, it was like just that weight off my shoulders, but it didn't help. Like, it helped for like half an hour, and then you went back to it. Whereas like when my anxiety was bad last year, I had social anxiety, so I was like stuck in the house for 6 weeks. Like, couldn't, was terrified of crowds. Like, every time I challenged myself, and I'm like, because I was off my for 2 months with it, I'm like, right, need to challenge myself, because like the boys were great, boys in the group were like, right, you can't lie down to this, you're letting it consume you. And I'd step outside and I'm like, nah, fuck that, I'm going back in.
This is something that I've kind of tried to take on board myself after having Gary in, because I think on the day that he came to visit us, he maybe wasn't feeling, 100%, and we gave him the option to obviously, we'll do it another day, and at that point he went, no, it's important that I do it because I don't feel great. And we're like, you know what, and that was something that I was with you. See, when we had Gary in, I think I did a 4-week period where I'd just been curtains shut, doors shut, no answering the phone, nothing, and it was a good few weeks at that point. And hearing that film was something that I was like, you know what, I'm going to try and take that forward, and it is something that I have used to my advantage, and it is an important thought that even when you're having these anxious moments, it is probably important more than ever to actually like step up and confront it.
Aye, definitely. Like, if you don't, I'll say to anybody that's suffering with mental health, like, if you don't challenge it, you're letting it win. You need to, if it's social anxiety like what I had, you need to progressively get yourself out there, even if it's like 10-15 minutes. I progressed up to the point where I went to a concert, and like, I was still going through it, but I made adjustments to, so I was in plenty of room, I was near an exit. Like, make the adjustments, like, when you get to a point where you're comfortable and you can go and do it, make the adjustments to suit the way that you're feeling. But like, for the first, like, I got put in antidepressants for my anxiety, and the doctor said to me they take 6 weeks to kick in, and like, they 6 weeks were torture, because I was just in my head, I wanted to be better.
You're waiting for it to happen, aren't you?
And it's a war zone as well when you're on the way up with the pills as well.
And I just sat there in my house frying. Like, my missus went away to work in the morning, I was hardly sleeping at night, I was getting up early doors, I'd sit and either watch Netflix all day, I wouldn't shower, I'd play the PlayStation, she'd get home. So I've got like that 8-9 hour span where I'm just no talking to anybody, I'm not looking at my phone. It's just me, my thoughts, and like, I was a wreck. Like, by the time she came home, I was an absolute wreck. And she's like, "You been for a shower?" "No, they want to go for a shower." So I suppose like the social anxiety aspect, and last year and the depression, like the no want to do anything, was very, very similar. Because it was just, my head was just overrun with thoughts. It just like freaking out at absolutely everything.
Overthinking.
I think that's a determination that, as we educate people and as people become more aware of not just awareness, mental health awareness, but like what the actual reality of people managing their mental health successfully looks like, that differentiation between anxiety and depression is important, because now I can look back on my experiences as you do and as Paul does and go, well, actually, that wasn't depression, that was my anxiety, and vice versa. And it makes the day-to-day management of my depression and anxiety more effective because I'm more mindful of my state now. And being able to tell the difference between what you're experiencing allows you to put whatever measures you've got in place quickly and effectively. And I think that's something that it's important because when you were talking about it earlier on, you were saying people on social media will say I've got depression, anxiety, and it's almost as if they are almost considered the one thing. And I think as people start to get to grips with themselves, it's important to recognise that they are two very distinct things, even though sometimes, as you say, they might have like similar, sort of traits and stuff like that. But that's been a key for me. Being able to, this year was the first year I ever said to my boss, I can't come in the day because of my anxiety. In the past, I would go, I've got a sore stomach, I've got the runs, I've got, a migraine or whatever it is, you know what I mean? But in actual fact, all the way back through my entire working career, probably any time I've done that, I've subconsciously actually been saying to myself, no, this is because you're no right. You know what I mean?
Aye.
How's your work been? Like
Good,
when
aye.
you've been taking time off and stuff, have they been supportive?
Aye, there was, when I first went off in July last year, before I moved out, it was like the stress of a manager, and I went in and I've kind of always sugarcoated what I've went through. Like my work allowed me to go for counselling sessions and that when I was going through a depression. Like I got time off work to go and do that, and I've always just kind of sugarcoated it. And there was just something clicked in my head that day, and I went, do you know what? Nah, fuck it. Cards are going on the table. Absolute everything. I went in my HR, told them everything that I'd been through, and they have been supportive. And then when I went off for the 2 months, I went in the Monday and I was like, oh, can I do this? Like physically, can I do this?
I think it's really important that workplaces actually progress rapidly with us, because in years gone by, even if you go back to maybe even 2015, if somebody was coming into work and saying, "Oh, I just don't feel right," or "I just don't feel good," people would be like, "Fucking man up! Like, get a grip yourself, get yourself in." Do you know what I mean? What you're doing?
Yep.
Whereas I think now there's a lot of places are realising that, and I think unfortunately it's because it costs them so much money. But no matter
billions a year in lost time for people no addressing, those are sore stomachs and sore heads and all the rest that cost a day's work. That's millions upon millions of people that could essentially be saying, do you know what, actually, maybe I don't feel great, and getting the right help to stop further absences and further, missed work hours and days and stuff like that. So definitely.
How much do you think that because we're definitely seeing, I don't know if we're seeing an actual peak in mental health issues, or whether or not it's just more prevalent because we're all interconnected now and people can communicate very easily.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I've read loads of stuff where it's saying that we're seeing it's like an epidemic, and then I've read other stuff that's saying, well, actually reported clinical depression is the same as what it's always been. It's just that we know more about it because we're seeing social media and that. But how much do you think amongst your generation is it like lifestyle versus actual? Because you get, I'm not pointing the finger at anybody when I say this, but people's lifestyles such as what you're saying, like living for your weekend, going out and getting absolutely like cunted on a Friday night and then no tipping back up, causing arguments with your missus. How much do you think is that amongst, or do you see amongst like your generation of people versus people that are actually just depressed and they're doing everything that they can with their lifestyle to try and sort of combat it?
I think it's massive in my generation, because you're right, I've done it. Like,
so did we.
I think everybody done it, but I think like people are then making the connection between the two. Like that, I did realise it did take me a while to realise the connection between the two. But obviously, people will have their issues. Like people have got their underlying issues. I mean, we don't get anxiety and depression for nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think that there's always a starting point, but we can't see the wood for the trees, because what you're doing is that you're making it hyperactive by having this sort of destructive lifestyle, so that you can't actually go back and just deal with the root cause, like stuff that happened in your childhood. Do you know what I mean? Like attitudes towards you or whatever it is that's meant that you tell yourself, I'm not good enough, or I need to be better or bigger or stronger, whatever it might be. But we can't. I think that people can't even see that because they're too caught up in the shit that they do that's destructive towards it. Like right now, do you know what I mean? Like such as alcohol, drugs. Do you know what I mean? The amount of people that you see and like saying it's like they're talking about I had mental health issues, and then you have a wee scroll through their Twitter and you're like, you were out absolutely canning it at the weekend. Like, you might want to take a step back for that and realise that that has got something to do with how you feel.
The thing is as well, like when you've got your underlying issues and folk are going out and just taking the absolute arse with it, Friday, Sunday, they're getting up to whatever, they're no sleeping, they're finally getting a sleep on the Sunday and they wake up on Monday and it's like, you're right, it brings everything to the surface.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're no understanding why that's happening. Like they're like nobody's making the connection in my generation. Like it's mad. I'm like, I scroll through Twitter and I see it and I'm like, you need to wake up and smell like coffee. Like that's you've obviously got underlying issues for somewhere, but the drinking the drugs isn't helping. Like all you're doing is bringing it to the surface. You're going through Monday to Friday depressed. Friday night comes, that's you. Vicious cycle.
Yeah, you just get to like open the valve and let the steam out. You know, like, for me, it was always a comfort issue. So in terms of my drinking and my sort of substance abuse, like I'm a bit maybe on the other end of the spectrum of that because like you say, I'm diagnosed from my late teens, dealt with through most of my 20s. I'm now nearly pushing 40 as we had discussed earlier on. But for me, I was always quite conscious of the fact that although I was abusing drink and drugs and various other things, food, for example, that I was, part of me knew that that's what it was, and that I was instead of these people in your generation who were accidentally masking maybe underlying issues with drinking drugs, like I feel like maybe your generation were a wee bit more deliberate about
so?
it.
Do you think that
I think I certainly was.
Even back when we were going out Thursday to Sunday or Thursday to Saturday, I never. When I think back to my 20s, I was not aware. I would always go. I would just be like you're saying. I'd just be like, I just can't wait to go for this night out, man. I'm just choking for it. But then when I look back now, I realise that it's because I just wasn't happy. I was wanting that escapism, just to go out and just forget about everything. And we went through a period where we would be doing that 3-4 nights a week.
Easy.
For a year. Do you know what I mean? And
I think somewhere doing I did know because again, like Ryan, I remember one night falling asleep on the couch, stupidly, drunk with a cigarette in my hand, and waking up as the cigarette burned through my trousers onto my leg, and so began a cycle of burning myself because, like you say, that release, that control, and all the things that gave me. So I mean, as much as we were out 4 or 5 nights a week, I've said in the previous podcast, I was still out with other people the other 3 or 4 nights a week. You know what I mean? And as I say, I was aware of my situation, deliberately sort of consciously not dealing with it, and then, as you say, dealing with addiction and sort of self-harm. So I think, from my own personal point of view, I think it was something that somewhere deep inside I did deliberately. You know what I mean? I was conscious of it. There was definitely a period of time where I was actively trying to destroy myself. You know what I mean? And I think obviously recognising that has led to a big change in me. You know what I mean? So, in terms of your generation, how do we get through to them to say, this is, and something that you need to address, is something you need to be aware of?
I think just mere folk talking about it, just awareness more than anything, because you know what it's like. Folk do get the blinkers on. I think I was the same as what you're saying. When I first got diagnosed, it was a kind of combination of a path of self-destruction and I can't wait for the weekend. It was that buzzing for your night out or whatever, but also wanting to feel normal. Whereas last year, I was just sitting in the house myself. My missus isn't a big drinker, and I was just sat bevving myself. And I think that's when you kind of realise that there is a problem there when you're just sitting yourself doing it, and it's no. You're not going out with your pals, but I think just the whole awareness of the situation, that's predominantly what's causing your problems. Stop it.
That's it. That's something that I never really get into. I've got a mate that used to sit and he would say Thursday night, bought a bucky in the PlayStation. Friday night, be going out. Saturday night, it would be in somebody's house party into Sunday, and then go to my bed on Sunday afternoon when I get home, and then up on Monday morning and go, and he's a painting decorator. And I used to think, fuck that, man. Like at 29, but at like 21, I would have been like, aye, let's get on that, man.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant. But that's not something that I never really got into. Mine was always like destructive relationships. I always had, and Matt will testify to this, there's been times in my life where I've chewed people up and spat them out. Do you know what I mean? And it was, when I look back, it's always been rooted in my ego, and that's always been like my kind of escapism, is controlling like my relationships with people, making sure that I dominate their relationships. So it manifests itself in so many different ways, man. Like, so what was your recovery like? So you get diagnosed, which is, I mean, it's obviously been a positive thing for you that you get diagnosed, but what was it like from there?
First 3 years were absolute torture.
Yeah.
To the, like, I'm so thankful for my missus. Like, she's been my absolute rock, like, over the last, like, 6 years. Because there's so many times where people would have just walked. Like, it was that bad.
Yeah.
Really, really bad relationship with mum. Like, it just... But I went to, like, over the space of the 3 years, I'd done 3 sessions of counselling. Which, when I came out of the third session, I was like, it's me, I'm fine. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it was like... The first holiday we went on, the last night, punched a wall, broke my hand. 2 weeks later, arguing with my mum, punched a wall, broke same hand again, a second place. And it was like, that was another form of release for me, like just punching walls. So it was like, that was absolutely torture. And then last year was tough as well, because you're coming off like a 6 month drink binge.
Yeah.
And stopping that on top of being feared to leave the house, like, I ended up turning to comfort eating, because I knew I couldn't drink. I've always been like, for the last 6 years, went to the gym, like, really fit guy, loved the gym, but like last year I just fell away from it. So I'd wake up in the morning, because what I was going through, I'm like, right, she's away a lot, I could take a drink. But there was something bigger in my head, went, no, like, we're stopping this.
Yeah.
So I turned to food. So it was like, I replaced one thing with the other, and I just like, all I done all day was eat, and it was like eating shite.
Yeah.
And like that, so that week last year was really, really tough as well, until like I came out. I went back to work at the start of the new year, and like that's when I look back now and be like, fuck, that was hard.
Yeah.
That was like really, really hard going.
So your relationship with, because this is something that I'm quite interested in, because I go to the gym religiously. Do you think I mean, clearly you've gone to the gym while you've been depressed, and that seems to be one of the sort of main things that people say is like health and fitness will help you with your mental health, and I kind of call bullshit on that, because I think that you can impose your poor mental health on any aspect of your life. So you can go to the gym and be toxic about going to the gym. Like, so for instance, like the amount of mental health issues amongst bodybuilders is incredible. And you would think, well, if health and fitness is the way to go to it, surely these guys should be like mentally absolute tip top. But do you think it helped, or how? Like, what was your relationship like to the gym and working out?
I know, like at the start, I wouldn't say it was, because with mental health comes like the body image.
Yeah.
And like the first time I went to the gym, like, I used to go to the Arches all the time when it was open, and obviously it's a sweat fest, everybody runs about with their top off. Folk I was pals at the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, you take your top off, for you're fat, that's embarrassing.
Right.
And I went, fuck, I need to go to the gym. But that then turned into an eating disorder. So
Right.
it went for being like, I always just see myself as fat. Like, at one point, I was just so determined to get a six pack that I was intaking 1,500 calories a day and taking 2 fat burners.
Yeah.
So it became a point, like, and like, I look back now, and because I had a six pack, I felt brilliant. But I look back now at the pictures, I'm like, fucking hell, like, I look anorexic.
That's
like,
Yeah.
I went through almost an identical sort of thing where at one point in time I was at like 7% body fat, and I can remember like going to parties and lifting my top up and mates being like, fuck's sake, man, and just being like, this is amazing. but not realising.
You went for a fair size down to like almost skin and bone, like
Aye,
pretty much overnight.
I went for 22 stone down to 12 stone in like a year and a half. So, but what I've realised now is that toxic sort of mindset was pushing me into that space, and it wasn't helping me at all. In fact, it was probably making things worse, because like you were saying, at one point in time I was eating chicken and broccoli like 3 or 4 times a day, and that was it. And then I would have a protein shake, which would probably cause me to have fucking diarrhea or something. And then I was also taking creatine, roasting hot all the time. But like you're saying, I felt amazing about the way that I looked. I didn't actually feel amazing.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
I was the exact same. And actually, there was a picture came up on my time hop like a few weeks ago, I feel like 4 years ago. And I think that's the first time I've actually looked at myself and went, you look ill. And I sent it to my missus, she went, I told you that at the time, but it does consume you.
It definitely does. I couldn't hear people. I used to tell myself, people are jealous when they tell you you're too skinny. I used to just be like, it's just jealousy, man. Like, I'm amazing, do you know what I mean?
It was at one point I could fit into my missus' shorts in her room.
Wow.
That's how skinny I was, and my missus is really skinny.
Yeah.
In her room, and that she said that to me. She was like, I'll never forget you turned and said to me, you're just jealous of me because I'm skinnier than you. And I'm like, did I say that? And that was like peak depression, peak eating disorders, like just so clouded by everything. And I was like, did I say that? And she went, aye. And I was like I kind of took a step back. I was like, that's fucking horrible, man.
That's
like,
it, right? Yeah, we're sold this image, like, see, you're saying about body image, we're sold this image about, like, here's the pinnacle of health and fitness is a skinny lassie and, like, a guy, and this is the thing that I was talking to another mate who's got somebody in his work who's started going to the gym, and he was explaining to me, like, his workout routine and stuff like that, because now the way that I go to the gym is I go for health and I eat for health. I don't eat to be slimmer. I'm not trying to lose weight. I just eat what I want, but I've got a certain sort of things that I'll eat, like fruit and veg and meat and stuff like that. I don't try and no go outside it. And the things that so basically this guy was training like a bodybuilder and eating like a bodybuilder. And I was like, is he want to be a bodybuilder? He's like, no, he just wants to look good. I was thinking to myself, man, that's so fucked up that this guy's paying like £800 a month to go in and absolutely fucking tear himself up in the gym.
Yeah.
And then he's eating like fucking 6,000 calories of just meat and veg every day for what? To look good on a holiday? It's like, that's weird, man. But then as I was saying that to myself, I was like, you used to be all about that. You would be like, that was you at one point in time. And I think it's really important that we talk about this, because like I said, there's just so much bad information out there, and so many people that's like, we'll just go to the gym or sort your diet out, and it's like that can be toxic as well. That can be destructive as well.
I think it's about finding, and again, as we've addressed on other episodes, what works for you. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things, like, for example, you know, you're overeating after getting up the drink. I understand exactly where you're coming from. As I say, I've spent, 3 of the last 4 months completely dry trying to square myself away. But like, for a period of time, like, it sounds weird, but the drinking worked for me for a while. You know what I mean? Like, and clearly for at least a period of time while you were getting off the drink, the eating worked for you. But then obviously that mindfulness, that recognition of yourself then pushed you to, another degree. Like, body image is another one of the things I feel like, men particularly are discouraged for talking about. We have the like dad bod debate on like fucking Twitter jokingly, but like, I don't really see a lot of, it is all GQ magazine men and stuff like that we get fed.
It's fucking rife just now, man. Like Instagram,
Love Island guys.
So
Geordie
toxic.
Shore, Jersey Shore, that sort of started it a wee bit with this sort of like meathead.
Aye, like triangular bodies.
Aye.
Like,
and
your body's no triangular, it's no right.
The funny thing about this situation is that this is something that women have been dealing with for like decades.
The expectation on their looks is incredible.
But this is another one that I think that your generation and the generations that are come up need to be really aware of. I was in the gym last week and I seen a wee guy and I was thinking to myself, he looks about fucking 12. What the fuck is he doing in a gym?
Why
is he in the gym?
We get that as well with the gym that we train in. There's so many times that I've been on my missus and I'm like, fucking it's just a wee guy. Like there was a wee guy he'd went a leg extension machine. And the same idea, he looked about 12, it was too heavy. He just about snapped his legs, and he broke the machine.
So dangerous.
And I'm like, why are you in a gym unsupervised?
That's it, man.
And it's so scary. But you're right, it's that, like, Jersey Shore kicked it off, and now it's Instagram. It's so fucking toxic, man. Like, everybody wants to look like these people, and like nobody's comfortable in their own skin. I think it's taken me to this year to be finally comfortable. Like, I'm the same as you now. Like, I'm back to enjoying the gym, but I'll still have a takeaway. Like, like I'll have a drink once a month now. Like, but I go to the gym because I enjoy it. I'm more gone. It's like, because I piled on the weight at first at the start of the year. I done it to lose the weight again. But now I'm happy with them myself.
That's it, man.
Like, I'm just living a good life. Like, I'm happy.
I'm in no way, I suppose, if anybody's listening to this, I'm no shitting on people that go to the gym, because I go to the gym. But I think that, like, we guys, like, I think what's important is, if you are aspiring to be a bodybuilder, go and work out. Aye, perfect. If you want to be a sports guy, go and work out. If you want to look a bit better, go and work out. But what you don't want to do is crushing your self-esteem under this expectation that I need to be there 5 days a week, I need to do a 5-day split, I need to try and get my squats up to this, I need to be deadlifting this, and my protein shake needs to be at this time, and my see, if you're doing that and you're not a professional bodybuilder, there might be something going on. I think that might be like a warning sign.
If only I do 10 more reps, I'll feel better about myself. If only I do another set, I'll feel better about myself. It's maybe not always going to be the case. You know
On the food front, man, I mean I've tried every single fucking diet under the sun. Like, I've done, and
so you've done some crazy shit with diets.
I've done some like crazy fucking diets. Do you know what I mean? And one of the things that's really important, like you were saying, that like food worked. I genuinely subscribe to that. Your food is so important. Like, if you're going to be eating shit, you're going to feel like shit.
Aye,
and that includes protein shakes, fat burners, creatine. Like, what if you're going and you're buying like fucking 30 days worth of protein powders for like 25 quid? What the fuck do you think's going into that, man? Chemicals and absolute shit, like fats and stuff.
What was it? I don't know name it, but there's a product that pops up on Facebook every now and again, and it's basically like, replace food with this, and you're like, replace food? Like, why the fuck would anybody want to do that? You know what I mean? Like the
show.
Aye, that's the one I was trying not to name just in
right.
case.
Shit, I thought you were just couldn't think.
No,
it.
I was going to go to stuff in the white bags and blah blah blah. But that, like, replace your food with this, and you're like, who the fuck wants to replace food? Like, I know you might need to have a better relationship with food or a better understanding of what's good for you and what's no, but who the fuck is replacing food? Like, no, boo.
And anybody with an eating disorder, innit?
Yeah.
That's just anything. Well, that's what I was doing. I was doing anything just to get a six pack. Like, that was it. That was the end goal. Like, I need a six pack. Didn't matter. Like,
How did it feel when you got it?
class.
Well,
looking back now, like,
nothing feels as good as six pack looks.
It's what you say though. Like, I put in so much work, of what I deemed as so much work, but so much work was like under eating and fat burners to get a six pack for a week in Ibiza.
Yeah,
and it's like, looking back, I'm like, why the fuck did I put myself through 6 months of hell to get a six pack for 1 week?
I think, like, I felt good, but nothing really changed. Nothing internally really changed. Like, I wasn't fixed when I got my six pack. Like, I wanted that, and I got it, and I felt good that I had achieved that. But really, I still felt the same. I still felt kind of shit. Do you know what I mean?
That's what put me off getting a six pack.
That's it. That's flying the flag for positive mental health.
I'm here representing dad bods all across the UK.
But I think, like, that, again, it's important. I think, like, if people listening to this and they're maybe worried about their partner or whatever, and their partner's like, say for instance, like, and this is what I recognised in myself, a social situation comes up, I wouldn't go, because I'd be like, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. So, like, pals would be like, do you want to come out? Do you want to come out? Or do you want to, and you're like, I've not seen my pals for a couple of weeks, and I'd be like, nah, because I want to be up at 6 to go to the gym. I think if you've got a partner or if you've got a friend and that is literally what they're doing, you should be asking them, are you alright? Is everything okay? Like, maybe that's no like good behaviour to be like giving up time with friends and family to go and lift weights.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. I just think the whole situation can consume somebody like so much. Like that's obviously you've been through it yourself. I've went through it. Like you just the blinkers are on. Like it's just the end goal, and you don't actually realise that. Well, you're right. One, you're not really feeling any better. Like I felt good for a week, and I came back and I was like, bit pointless. Like, what do you do now? Like,
Yeah.
like so it's just, it's daft. Like just go to the gym and enjoy it. Don't go to the gym and just torture yourself like to the point of where you're becoming no well. Like,
I think, and as well as, you know, obviously the mental and physical side that we've been talking about, one of the areas in which I think, again, our similarities cross over is that you've been quite sort of talkative about your partner and the drive that came for, you know, wanting to keep her in your life. And that's something that resonates with me as well in terms of my own relationship. Like, I think one of the things people need to keep in mind is gratefulness. Like, you know, to when you're in the hole and when you're trying to dig yourself back out, is to be grateful for the things in your life that are still there and still working. Sounds like your relationship has been a huge part of that, as it has in mine. Like, I think it's important to recognise the people that love you no matter what, and want to stand there beside you and support you no matter what. And it sounds as though that's a huge thing you've got in your corner. But on top of that, we were talking about the sort of generational stuff. You know, your generation to yours, we're still obviously quite young guys, but beyond that, well, relatively speaking, we're younger than the group of guys I'm about to start talking about. One of the things, you know, you obviously work in you're a coach builder, and it's quite a traditional environment. You were saying the workforce itself is a wee bit older than yourself, and it kind of rang true with my experience with my dad, your dad as well, that older generation. And when I was initially talking to my dad about your group, because we do occasionally talk about these things, he's for the Garngard Road, you know, Royston Road, all his days, and was like, that was just no a thing in my day. You know what I mean? Like guys getting together, talking about their issues, and really kind of like being open to hearing what each other are about. Like, just wouldn't have happened. Like, it was literally just up the budgie at the end of your shift, get a pint down your neck and shut up. You know what I mean? Like, and I think, is that something that you've maybe struggled with? Is that how do you find like working in that masculine environment with like an older generation of guys? Is there pushback against it? Do you find them quite supportive? Is there questions?
I know, like I'm very very selective with who I've really talked to, and I've had a lot of support for guys.
Yeah.
But on the other side of the coin, it's that toxic masculinity. Like that's no real.
Yeah.
I found out like when I was going through my depression, I was going to my counselling, my gaffer at the time. I found this out like last year. He was going around saying to boys in the line, "Watch what you're saying about him. He's got depression. He might react."
Yeah.
And that infuriated me because one, that's my personal business.
Yeah.
You've got absolutely no right to talk about that. And two, like you end up with like people with like preconceived ideas of what you're going to be like. People walk in eggshells with you. Like thankfully it's not like that now. But I've had boys come up to me and mock and say like, "That's not real. Man up."
It's weird because I mean, I've had similar experiences and worked with people who have went, "Oh, by the way, you know, watch it out for him," and yada yada. And like, I felt that anger that you're talking about, but I think there's part of me that recognises that sometimes it is actually well intentioned, and it's maybe just that older generation of people have never really talked or thought in these terms, and sometimes that even when they do try and, you know, like help, and you know, as they maybe sometimes think they're doing, they actually make sort of matters worse. I mean, I've found personally that as I've spoken about it, it's maybe because I'm getting a wee bit older, that older men actually do seem to be quite responsive. Like, you know, my dad's, my uncles and various other folk have actually opened up and shared stuff with us. Is that something that you've experienced at all with the guys at work?
Nah, not really, but I think just because my work's full of sweetie wives,
Right.
so I'm very, very select with who I speak to about it. So, but I have had a guy come up to me and say, like, because they're bringing in mental health first aiders, and I've had a few boys saying to me like, you're perfect for it. There's nobody better than somebody who's had life experience.
Yeah.
And like I've had people saying that they would come to me, which is a good feeling as well. Like, I mean, I'm not going to bite your head off.
Of course, yeah.
And that's it's a daunting thing though. Like, I say that to anybody that's new that comes to a group on a Saturday. Like, you've done the two hardest things is one, admitting that you've got a problem, and two, walking through the door to sit in a group of guys that you don't know. Like, you've done the two hardest things. Like, just like open up, talk about it, and like, I mean, it's the amount of guys that walk out of our group like, I feel amazing now. Like, it's because you've built up
I think,
so much shit.
You were talking about like the generational differences. I think that there's two. I mean, we talk about this quite a bit. So, and I've got that problem where I think about everything too much. So I've thought about this quite a bit and try to figure out like why is it that the older generations didn't really go through this. And the only thing that I can really sort of pinpoint is that they really went for this cradle to grave, but school to shipyards, and we just don't have that. We don't have that same purpose.
Yeah.
We I think people like my dad accepted that they were going to work all their days. That was actually like a badge of honour. I'm going to work all my days. Whereas we've got all the possibilities laid out in front of us to do whatever we want to do and whatever we choose. And we've kind of just we're rejecting, I think, that lifestyle. That because we're talking about younger generations of people that are going out on a Friday night and they're not realising, like, my dad used to come home absolutely pissed drunk every Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah.
He would go for the building, he was a scaffolder, for the building site, straight to the pub, home, up to the football on a Saturday, back to the pub, and then Sunday dinner, watch football on the telly, go to his bed, go back to work. So he was in that same thing.
Yep.
And I think that alcoholism, drug abuse was rife, absolutely rife, but we just don't, I don't think for some reason we just don't talk about it. We just talk.
Maybe it wasn't out in the open.
Aye, we've got this nostalgic looking back and going, all the good old days, and like we see this quite a lot now, where people are sort of going, well, we need to go back to these sensibilities of like the 50s and 60s, and you're kind of like, no, we fucking don't. Like we should be progressing and pushing forward with something else. No trying to push people back in fucking 50 years.
I think as well, like, I think with the addiction side of it, like, the older generation have this like preconceived idea of what an addiction is.
Yeah.
So people can be addicted to drugs, and somebody will go, he's taking heroin. Well, no. Like, there's other drugs out there that people are addicted to.
Yeah.
Or he's addicted to drink. Or you would associate that with the guy with the red face, like the older generation with the red face walking down the street.
Yeah. Guy like, stinking of piss in the bookies.
Aye. So it's just the older generation, I just have this stereotype of what these addictions are. Like, I wouldn't say I was an alcoholic, but I was addicted to drink last year.
Yep.
But me walking down the street, would you go, oh, he's addicted to drink? No, you wouldn't. Like, so the older generation, I don't know if it's maybe just because of like what they've been through, like what you said, they're up straight into work. Like, there wasn't much else to do. Like, they have just got these preconceived ideas of what mental health is, what addiction is, things like that. And it's like, I think it's not only do we need to educate the younger generation, we need to educate the older generation.
I think like in the last year, 2 years, addiction for me, I mean, I grew up in a scheme. Unfortunately, we went about battering junkies at times. Like, we would go and target people, and I'm looking back at that and just thinking these people are victims. Like, they were, half of them, well, the majority of them, their parents were either alcoholics or junkies themselves. But like you're saying, this stereotype, and I would always be like, he's just a junkie. And then now as an adult, I'm looking back and realising, man, that poor guy, that guy must have been going through fucking hell, because I know what his parents were like. His big brother was an absolute maniac, like, it was always the nutter and like that type of thing. And you're looking back and going, these people never really had a fucking chance. But that has got a lot to do with, I think, the way the media portrays. Like, that's a working class thing.
I'm with you in that sense, because, for example, as I said, when I've had my issues with drinking the last year or so, when somebody goes, okay, I'm with you, the red-faced wee guy who's tiptoeing a doorway with his dog on the way home and a can of super lager hanging out his jacket, you know what I mean? Like, whereas, there's somebody like me who's, in his mid-30s, in a well-paid, semi-professional job that, I never missed a day of work, I never phoned in sick, I never did any of these other things, but I was still going home at night and stanking like 3/4 of a bottle of Jack Daniels 6 nights a week. You know what I mean? Like, so for that period, as much as I don't necessarily consider myself an alcoholic now, but as you say, there was a period of time when I was addicted to alcohol, and like I think the older generation had that. As you say, my dad would come home on a Friday night, open a bottle of White and Mackay with my mum, and by the time Sunday came round, they'd rattled 3 bottles between them. You know what I mean? Like, that's a fucking lot of alcohol, but like there would have been never a time that would have even occurred to my mum or dad to consider themselves alcoholics. You know what I mean?
A functioning alcoholic was almost like something that you were like...
It's a badge honour for some folk,
Like, I remember a guy that used to kick about Ridley, and he worked for the council. He was like a bin guy. And I remember my sister telling me, I think I was about 14, she was like, he's a heroin addict. And I was like, that can't... What are you talking about? He's got a job. And she was like, he's a functioning heroin addict. And I was like, good for him. Do you know what I mean? Almost like can remember thinking,
if he can do both, fair play to him.
Fair play to him. Fair play to him, man. And it's like, no. Fuck no, man. But I think that like that's something that a lot of people have been dealing with, but we've not seen it, is these functioning addicts that get up and they force themselves to go to work every day and they take care of their family, and for the outside looking in you think, oh man, they've got that's a great life, but then secretly they're probably going home, drawing the curtains and doing whatever they're doing. And I think probably more prevalent in older people has been a case of lager and a bottle of whiskey or whatever it's been like that.
When I say in my work, like years gone by, like you hear the stories, like all the daft ones. Like, he was mental. Like he'd go out to the boozer at lunchtime, come back pissed, or they'd bring drink in. Everybody's saying a laugh and a joke about it, and I'm like, what?
He's involved with heavy machinery.
Like, how can you find that funny? Like, that's somebody that's got like, but as like all the guys that talk about it, they wear it as a badge of honour. Like, even though it's not them, brilliant. Like, I witnessed that. That was funny.
Because it was the example that was set for them.
It's reinforcing their addiction as well. I think that's a part of it. Is that like at one point in time I was a sex addict, and we were talking on drunk therapy about the times when I sat up the stairs in this house and had 4 of my mates round and just going like, oh, I've matched this bird on tin, I'm going to bang her later, blah, check her out, blah, blah, blah. And people encouraging that behaviour, being like, oh, wow, man. Like, and you can almost, it validates it, and you're like, oh, aye, man, I'm the big man. Like, this is it. And then you wake up the next day and you feel like shit, and you're like, oh, why do I feel like this? I don't want to feel like this. And then you go through this cycle of sort of fighting against that feeling, no realising that all your toxic behaviour is causing this fucking horrible feeling in you, and you kind of need to get rid of it. Do you know what I
feel
mean?
like you're indulging in your vice to stop the sadness, to stop the depression, to stop the anxiety, because when you're drunk or when you're having sex or when you're having drugs or food or whatever it is, you feel better, but you're no acknowledging the fact that you feel shit afterwards because you've overdid in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, it's no solving your problem, it's what's driving it.
Aye. I just it never occurred to me to stop doing it because I was just always just like, nah, just that makes me feel better, so I'll just keep doing that. And that's, I suppose, that is what addiction is, isn't it?
Aye. It's just that sense of normality, innit? You just
when I was,
want to take yourself out of the situation of what you're feeling like on a day-to-day basis. Like, that was like me with a drink. Like, it just, that feeling of being steaming and no caring about what I was actually going through was, to me, obviously in my head, was like, that's the best feeling ever. And then you wake up rough the next day and those feelings are multiplied times 10.
Yeah.
So it sounds like as well that you've managed to get yourself back to a place where, and this is something that's kind of like frowned upon when you see it spoke about in public, is that people can actually have a better relationship with whatever their vice is. So for instance, like, I mean, I'm proud of that we've seen him have a couple of drinks. Like last weekend we came up and we watched the UFC and we watched the Champions League final, and he had four cans of beer. And when I came down the stairs with my girlfriend, I was like, I'm actually so happy to see that Matt just sat and had a couple of drinks and didn't get pissed, because normally it would have been a Champions League final, he'd have sat and drank a bottle of whiskey. And I think it sounds like you're saying you can manage to drink once a month. So your relationship's vastly changed.
Aye.
Was there a point where you actually like realised, or was it just sort of like dipping your toes in the water, just like, I'll see how I get on with this?
Kind of seen how I get on. Like, I was, see, the turn of the year, I was terrified. Like, every time I thought about drinking, I'm like, no, because you're just going to fall back into that place you were. And it just started off like, I'll have a can of beer. And then, like, I was out for the Scotland game last week. I was out all day Saturday, and then I went out with my missus all day Sunday. And I was rough on the Monday, but like, it was knowing that I don't have that anxiety anymore and that depression, and it's a good feeling, but it's not something that I do every weekend. Like, it's just because I had stuff on. But like, I had a can of beer last night, whereas before, I would have a can of beer, I'd have another can of beer, I'd have another can of beer, and before you know it, I'm going up the shop to get a bottle of tonic and 2 can of dragon shit. And it's like, I could never just see myself, or like, you go out for a couple of pints, never a couple of pints, is it?
That's it, mate.
But it's now, I could quite happily just go to Bowser Hay 2 pint and come down the road. It's just,
like, even myself, when I really think about it, I couldn't go out. I used to say to people, like, I'm either all in or else I don't want it at all. And I had a terrible relationship with booze, because if I went for a night out, we would go and it would be like, you would be sitting in here and you pre-drink, so it would be like half a bottle of vodka and maybe like a couple of ciders or beers, whatever it is. Then you would be, as soon as you were through the door, it would be like shots. Right, get me 3 Jack and Coke and 2 shots of tequila, and then before you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're fucking slabbering down yourself. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now, and this is only last year that I decided, do you know what, I'm going to actually try and go out. And it was my Christmas night out last year. I was like, I'm going to have 4 pints. I'm not going to have any more than 4 pints. I'm just going to see how I got on here, because I hadn't drank in like a year, and I had the first pint, and I woke up the next day and actually felt like a sense of achievement that I'd went out, had a good night out, but didn't feel the need to get absolutely fucking rat-arse drunk. Do you know what I mean?
It's kind of, again, kind of links with some of the things I was actually saying just after the drunk podcast we did the other week. There was, he's texting me the next day going, how you doing, mate? Because this was like the first sort of proper drink I'd really had since the turn of the year, and this was 4 months down the line sort of thing. And I was like, as you say, the next, when you say you woke up on the Monday and you were rough, but like you still felt good, you know what I mean? And that's what I was saying. I'm going, do you know what? I actually quite enjoy the fact that I've got a hangover, because I'd been drinking to the extent where I didn't get hangovers anymore. I could put a bottle of Jack Daniels away and I'm going to work the next morning and not even break sweat. You know what I mean? Like, that's the level I was at. So to actually like sit and have like half a dozen Jack and Cokes and a couple of cans of lager and wake up the next morning going, oof, I was like, do you know what? This is actually like a sign that what I've been doing in the last couple of months has actually worked, because my body is no longer so used to the alcohol that it doesn't even register with it anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
I was about that and all. Like, I was the same as you. I could drink and drink and drink. I'm a lightweight anyway. Like, I can't handle my drink at all. But I'd be absolutely steaming. I wouldn't wake up with a hangover. Like, and you just become accustomed to that. And like, the first bottle of wine I had this year, because I love my wine.
Yeah,
like,
we're fans of Buckfast.
Yeah, can't beat it. Like, the first, I had 1 bottle of wine and I woke up like the roughest of us, like proper seared and everything, and I was like, I've missed this.
Aye.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
there is something nice about sitting on a Sunday hungover, isn't there?
Aye, like eating shit, getting takeaways. Like, you do miss it.
The thing that you don't need the fear.
Yeah.
I mean, people talk about the fear. If you're going out and you're getting pissed on a Saturday night, there's nothing wrong with going out and having a good time and getting steaming with your mates every now and again and going and joining a nightclub and having a dance and all that. I've done that plenty of times, but the thing that accompanies that and has become normal is this idea of rattling the next day, like, the next day's a pure write-off. I think that was when I started to go, do you know what, I need to do something about this, because every time I had a drink, I would get pissed. I wouldn't be hungover. I would be like debilitated the next day. I would literally be like lying in my bed all day, eating shite, just checking out Netflix and just being pure, can't deal with this, man. And it would be like 3 days of that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's when you need to start taking a look and going, maybe I've got a bad relationship here, maybe something else is going on. It might not even have anything to do with the actual drink, but I think that's a sign that something's maybe underlying, and maybe you need to take a look inside. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, definitely. That's the fear's just your anxiety, innit? Like, I used to get like that, like, oh, the fear, like, oh. And I was the exact same, just lying in bed all day, watch Netflix, order takeaways, eat halls of shite, and you still feel like that, like 2-3 days later.
Aye.
But I wasn't really registering why. I was like, oh, 2-day hangover, 3-day hangover, whatever. Like,
At 25, mate.
Still be invincible.
But that is, now that I've educated myself in mental health, and I've educated myself in anxiety, because like I want to go and become a counsellor now. That's my goal. Like, I want to be able to help people professionally.
Amazing, mate.
Because I've been through it, and because I've now educated myself. I look back and I'm like, aye, that was a hangover on a Sunday, but the other 3 days you felt like that, it's anxiety. Like, that is just your anxiety. It's no helped with the drink, but that's what was causing that. And I think the fear's glorified. It's certainly glorified in my generation. See on Twitter, like, oh, I've got the fear and all that.
It's like hang with the old boys, isn't it? Where they go, I was there when he did that kind of thing. It's the modern equivalent of it.
The fear is nothing to be glorified, because anxiety is not to be glorified. Like, that is all you're going through is anxiety, and like, you just need to wake up and see that's what's causing it.
Yeah, 3-day hangovers are absolutely not an actual legitimate thing. No. But if you're still hanging 3 days later, there's something else going on.
Aye.
Ryan, I think, to be honest with you, at that point, we've covered all our talking points. We're a wee bit earlier here, and I'm conscious of the fact that you'll probably have your group to get to the day as well. Obviously, best luck with that. Just want to say, like, massive thanks for coming in and sharing your story for us. I think we've said ourselves, like, it's easy to have, local celebrities in and talk, but like, what we want to do is get ordinary folk talking, and your experience has been invaluable in doing that. So I really appreciate you coming in and sharing it with us. And like, anytime you want to come back, man, doors always open.
Right, thanks for
Cheers,
that.
man.
Cheers.